Good morning, dear children. So today we will be learning how to name different organic compounds. Now we have learned the rules for naming organic compounds. We have learned the rules. Okay? So we'll be using those rules for naming some organic compounds. Now, the very much important thing for naming any organic compound is this general form, prefix, which comes just before the word root. Prefix which comes just before word root. And after prefix comes word root. After word root comes primary suffix. After primary suffix comes secondary suffix. So in prefix we will be using halides and alkyl groups. And in word root we will be using, if there is one carbon then methane, if there is carbon 2 then eth, if there is carbon 3 then prop. Then primary suffix, if there is single bond between all the carbon atoms then it is N. If there is any two carbon atoms having double bond then it will be in. If there is triple bond between any two carbon atoms then wine. And for secondary suffix, if there is OH group then secondary suffix will be OL. If there is CHO functional group then secondary suffix will be Al. If there is carboxylic acid then oic acid. If there is ketone then ONE. Now let's do some examples so that it will be clear to you all. So example number 1, CH3 CH3. Now, what is the rule for naming organic compounds? Number 1, what was the rule? Number 1, selection of carbon chain. Selection of carbon chain. So number 1 is selection of carbon chain. Selection of carbon chain. Anyways, you need to get the longest chain. You need to get the longest chain. You can try anyways. And for trying, in order to select the longest chain, you can use your pencil. So if you go from like the 1, 2, 3. So if you go from left to right, your longest chain will have 3 carbon atoms. Okay. And if you come from right to left, 1, 2, 3. If you come from right to left, then also your longest chain will have 3 carbon atoms. Then if you go like this, 1, 2, 3, this way also 1, 2, 3, and if you go like this then also 3. If you go like this, 3, 3. That means longest chain you can have is of 3 carbon atoms. Longest chain you can have is of 3 carbon atoms. Longest chain you will have is of 3 carbon atoms. So that becomes your word root. So your word root contains 3 carbon atoms. Your word root contains word root. Here only for this. For this, your word root has 3 carbon atoms. So 3 carbon atoms means prop. So your word root is prop. Your word root is prop. Okay. Now you see this. That means if you go like this, anyways. Now I'm going like this. I'm going for this. I'm going for this. Okay. Now, what is the second step? You have to see now the substituent. That means branch. So you can see that here is the branch, this is the branch, because this is not coming in the chain, the parent chain. This carbon is not coming in the parent chain. So this is branch or substituent. This is branch or substituent. So in which carbon number is this branch linked? So this branch is linked in carbon number 2. If you go like this, then also it is carbon number 2. If you move from here to here, then also carbon number 2. That means any ways you can move. You can number from left to right, or you can number from right to left. Because on doing so, no change will be there. Because if you go from left to right, then also the branch is in carbon number 2. If you come from right to left, then also your branch is in carbon number 2. So no problem at all. Anyways you can go. Okay. So what is the thing is that the branch should have the lowest number. The branch should be, you have to number in such a way that the substituent group should get the lowest possible number. Lowest possible number. But here, both the ways, you are getting 2 only. And if you go like this, then also you are having 2. Okay. Branch is in carbon number 2. So, in carbon number 2, you have the branch. And what is the name of this branch? What is the name of this branch? So that means this substituent or branch is coming as prefix. Substituent or branch is coming as prefix because this is which group? Alkyl group. This is alkyl group. Alkyl group. Why this is alkyl group? Because this is ethane which has lost 1 hydrogen. This is ethane which has lost 1 hydrogen. So this is alkyl group. Now this alkyl group comes as prefix. And since there is 1 carbon atom only in this alkyl group, so it will be methyl. What it will be? Methyl. It will be methyl. It will be methyl. And in which carbon atom from the longest chain is this branch, is this alkyl group linked? This alkyl group is linked with carbon number 2 from the longest chain. So numbering, that means this alkyl group is linked with carbon number 2 of the main chain. So you will write 2 methyl. That means this 2 shows the position of this branch. So the position of this branch is in carbon number 2. That means it is linked to carbon number 2. So prefix will be 2-methyl. Prefix will be 2-methyl. Okay, prefix will be 2-methyl. Okay. Now we are done with this prefix. We are done with what root. Now is primary suffix. Now is primary suffix. Now you can see here, this carbon and this carbon is linked with a single bond. This and this carbon is also linked with single bond. This and this carbon is also linked with single bond. That means there is no double bond or triple bond. There is no double bond or triple bond. So we need to go for this because there is no double or triple bond. So what will be our primary suffix? N. What will be our primary suffix? Primary suffix will be N. Primary suffix will be N. And is there any secondary suffix here? Is there any OH group? Is there any CHO group? Is there any COH or C double bond? Nothing is there. Nothing. So this much is there. This much is there. That means how will you name now? Using this prefix. First of all, you will write prefix. So 2-methyl. 2-methyl. Then what root is here? Prop. 2-methyl. Prop. And then your primary suffix is N. So N. So what is the name of this compound now? 2-methyl propane. What is the name of this compound? 2-methyl propane. Now let's do another. Let's do another example. See here, CH3, CH, CH, CS3. CS3, CH3. Okay, this is the compound. This is the compound. This is the compound. Now, this carbon is linked with three other hydrogen atoms and one single bond. That means this carbon is linked to this carbon. Means now what is there? Number one is selection of carbon chain. Selection of carbon chain. So go for selecting carbon chain. Now go for the longest possible carbon chain. So if you start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This way you are getting 4. Come like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go like this, 1, 2, 3 only. If you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4 only. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you come like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So which is the longest? Longest is having how many carbon atom? 4. Longest possible carbon chain here is 4. So your word root. So what will be your word root here? Word root. If there are 4 carbon atoms, then what will be the word root? Word root will be but. If there is C4, then it is but. But. So word root is but. Then you have to go for now substituent group and make sure that substituent group should have the lowest possible number. And if you go like this, then these are the substituents. These are the substituents. 2 substituents are there. How many substituents? 2 substituents are there. These are the substituents. And substituents is lying in 2 and 3. If you go like this. If you come like this, then also 2 and 3. So anyways you can go. Anyways. Okay. Either from left to right or from right to left. Anyways you can go. Left to right or right to left. Anyways you can go. Then these are the substituents. Now you have to decide which way you want to go. Then only you will be starting naming it. So I am going from left to right because either you go from left to right or right to left, they are having the same numbers 2, 3. From here also 1, 2, 3 only. And these are the same substituents, the same substituents. Okay, CS3 and CS3. Otherwise we would have gone for other ways, preference. Okay. So 2, 3. That means your prefix. Now the substituent comes as prefix. If there are halide or alkyl groups, then they will come as prefix. So your prefix. What is your prefix? This is methyl group, and this is also methyl group. This is methyl group, and this is also methyl group. So what does rule number 5 says? If there are multiple alkyl groups, then looking at the number of alkyl groups, you will number. So there are 2, so die. If there are 3 alkyl groups, same kind of alkyl groups, then try, then tetra, and so on. So there are 2 methyl groups. How many methyl groups? 2. So 2 methyl groups means dimethyl. 2 methyl group means dimethyl. So your prefix will be dimethyl. Your prefix will be dimethyl. And since prefix are to be assigned with the number, that means they are linked to the main chain, in which carbon number, in which carbon atom they are linked in the primary, in the word root, in the longest chain, in the parent chain, that is to be given. So this is linked to carbon number 2 and this is linked to carbon number 3. So what do you do? 2, 3 and dash. 2, 3 and dash. So your prefix is 2, 3 dimethyl. Your prefix is 2, 3 dimethyl. Then your primary suffix. So primary suffix, you can see none of the carbon is having double or triple bond. So we'll go for this only again, N. So it is N. Then what will be the name of this compound? Name of this compound will be, first of all, you will be writing prefix. So what is the prefix here? 2, 3 dimethyl is your prefix. And then what is word root? Word root is but. And then what is the primary suffix? N. So 2,3 dimethyl butane. 2,3 dimethyl butane is the name of this compound. 2,3 dimethyl butane is name of this compound. I think you understood. So what is the next example? Let's go for a little complicated. Yeah, let's go for example number 7. Example number 7. What is that? CH3 CH, then double bond CH, this is there. So example number 7, CH3 CH double bonded to CH CH3. Okay, now go for the longest chain, longest possible chain. So you start counting from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go from left to right. If you come from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So anyways, you go from left to right or right to left, it will have 4 carbon atoms. That means word root. What is your word root? Word root. 4 carbon means but. 4 carbon means but. 4 carbon means but. Okay. So but, 4 carbon means but. But. Then what root is done? Prefix any branch other than these carbons in the chain. Is there any carbon linked to this main chain? No. There is no any other carbon chain linked to this. There is no any other halides linked to this. There is no any other alkyl group linked to this. So there is no prefix. There is no prefix here. Prefix, not applicable. It's not there. Prefix is not there. Then go for primary suffix. Go for primary suffix. So primary suffix. So what is your primary suffix here? Is there C single bond C? Is all carbon atom linked with single bond only? No. You can see here these carbon and this carbon are linked with double bond. Linked with double bond. And if there is a double bond, then your primary suffix will be in. So your primary suffix is in. Okay, your primary suffix is in. Okay. Now your primary suffix is in. Now anyways you can go. If you go like this, then there is double bond between 3, 2. There is double bond between carbon number 3 and carbon number 2. And if you come like this, then there is double bond between carbon number 3 and 2, same thing. 2, 3, 3, 2, same thing. Okay, so you can go anyways. You can go anyways. Okay, you can go anyways. I'm coming from right to left or left to right. You can go anyways. So double bond is between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. Now among 2 and 3, which is the lowest number? 2. So you have to go for 2. That means carbon number 2 is having double bond. So in order to show the position of double bond, you will be writing 2, because out of 2 and 3, which is the lowest, 2, you have to go for the lowest. So your primary suffix is 2 in. Your primary suffix is 2 in. The primary suffix is 2 in. Then what will be the name? Prefix is not there. No prefix. Then go for what to directly. So B-U-T. Then primary suffix directly. So 2. But 2 in. But 2 in. So this is the name of this compound. So from this what we can understand? Word root. That means in the word root there are 4 carbon atoms. 2 means double bond is there in carbon number 2. Double bond is there in carbon number 2 and 3. 2 and 3. If you say, okay, sorry, it can be 1 and 2 also. No, it cannot be 1 and 2, because if there is 1 and 2, then you will be writing 1 here. Okay, 1 here. Since you are writing 2, so it must be 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So, okay, another example. Example number 8. What is the example number 8? CH3, CH, double bonded C, then CH3, CH2 and CH3. Yes. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. If you come like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you go like this, 4 only. If you go like this, 4 only. So anyways, it can have 5 carbon atoms in the longest chain in the skeleton. The skeleton will have carbon of 5, means there will be 5 carbon atoms in the longest chain. So anyways, you know, there are 5 carbon atoms in the chain. Now, while numbering, you need to see 2 things here. One is, this double bond should have the lowest possible number. If you move from here, then it is having between 2 and 3. It is having between 2 and 3. Now, listen one thing. If there is no double bond or triple bond, if there is no double bond, triple bond, or any other functional group, okay, this will have more preference than prefix. These groups will have more preference over prefix. More preference over prefix. More preference over prefix. So they will have more preference over prefix. Okay. So if there is any group like this, C double bond C, C triple bond C, OH, CHO, COH, C double bond O, then you will ignore the preference of alkyl group or halides. Alkyl group or halides. But if this group is not there, then your higher preference will be some alkyl or halides group. If other than this prefix, if other functional group like this is present, then they will have the higher preference. I think you understood. alkene, alkyne and rest of other functional groups which comes under secondary suffix will have more preference over alkyl and halide groups. So here you will not prefer this substituent group. Here you will not prefer this substituent group. Here your preference will be this double bond. So this should have the lowest possible number, that's it. So if you come from right to left, carbon number 3 and 4, there is double bond between 3 and 4. But if you move like this, they will have 2 and 3. That means which way you will go? You will go from left to right. You will go from left to right. So you will go from left to right, like this. Okay. So then this is numbering is done. Now go for word root. What will be your word root? Word root. Your word root is having how many carbon atoms? 5. So if there is 5 means pent. 5 means pent. Then there is a prefix also. Prefix, alkyl group is there. So prefix. Prefix is in carbon number 3. Prefix is in carbon number 3. And what is the name of this prefix? Methyl. Since there is one carbon, so methyl. If there is 2 carbons, C2H5, then ethyl. There is one carbon, so methyl. So that means in which carbon number? 3. So it is 3-methyl. So what is your suffix here? Prefix here? 3-methyl. Okay. Then what is your primary suffix here? Primary suffix is this double bond. So primary suffix is in. So what will be its name? First of all, you will be writing prefix. So it is 3-methyl, and then word root is pent, and then in double bond. So out of 2 and 3, you have to write any one number, and which will you write? The lowest number. So 2. So pent 2 in. This is the name of this compound. This is the name of this compound. So what is the name of this compound? 3-methyl pent 2 in. 3-methyl pent 2 in. Okay. Now another. Let's go for example number 10. Number 10. So what is this? CH3, CH2, then C, and then triple bond C, CH3. So start numbering. If you move like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you move like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means this compound is having 5 carbon atoms in the longest chain. So your word root will be pent only. Pent. Word root is pent. Then which way of numbering you will prefer? For that you have to see in between which carbon atoms there is triple bond. So if you move like this, you will be having 3, 4. If you move like this, you will be having 3 and 4. Between 3 and 4, you will be having triple bond. If you come like this, you will be having between 2 and 3. So it should get the lowest possible number. This way you are getting 3 and 4, this way you are getting 2 and 3. So which is the lowest possible number? Here you are getting 2, 3, here you are getting 3, 4. So this is the lowest possible number. That means you will number from right to left. You will number from right to left, so that this triple bond gets the lowest possible number. Now your word root is done, then there is no prefix, then directly you go for primary suffix. So your primary suffix is this triple bond. So triple bond means in. Then in which carbon number is this triple bond? Between 2 and 3. So out of 2 and 3, which is the smallest number? 2. So it is 2in. Now how will you name this? Pent 2in. Pent 2in. Okay. So this way you will name organic compounds. Now quickly we'll go on to another, that is number 15. Example number 15. We'll go for example number 15. So what is there in example 15? CH3, then CH2, CH, C2H5, CH2OH. Then here it is CH3. Yes. Okay. Now start numbering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you go like this, you are getting 5. If you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 2. There are 2. C2H5. There are 2. So you can break this. You can break this. So you can break this in this way. CH2 and then CH3. It was C2H5, yes or no? It was C2H5. So C2H3 and 2, 5. So if there is C2H5 or C3H7, you can break so that it will be easy for you to count. So if you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Okay, if you go like this, then you are having 6. If you go like this, you are having 5. If you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. You will be having 4 only. What you will have? You will be having 4 only. Okay. Now, what will you do now? The longest chain can have 6 carbon atoms. The longest chain can have 6 carbon atoms. And then if you go like this, you will be having 5 carbon atoms. You will be having how many carbon atoms? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. You are having 5. And if you go like this, you are having 6. But mind you one thing. What I am saying is, selecting carbon chain, they should get the preference. Mind you one thing. The carbon chain, if there is any secondary suffix and in primary suffix, if there is double bond or triple bond, they should lie in the longest chain. They should lie in the parent chain. Are you getting me? C double bonded C, C triple bonded C, OH, CHO, COOH, C double bonded to O, then ROR, all should lie on the parent chain, that is what root. So this is the thing. This is the thing. Whether for this you have to reduce the longest chain, not a problem. You can reduce the longest chain also. but they must be there in the parent chain. That means if there is carbon atom in which OH group is linked, that carbon atom must be in the longest possible chain. I think you got it. So if you go like this, you will have 6 carbon atom in the chain, but the carbon atom which is having OH group is out of the chain. It is out of the chain. If you go like this, then this will be out of the chain. This will be out of the chain. So you cannot do, because this OH group, the carbon atom which is linked to this OH group should come in the parent chain. So your parent chain should be like this only. Your parent chain should be like this only. Okay. So you will have parent chain like this. Like this. Why? Because of this. Because of this. Then your longest chain can have how many carbon atoms now? 5. Your longest chain can have 5 carbon atoms. Then your word root will be word root. 5 means paint. And then prefix. Are you having prefix? Are you having prefix? Yes, you are having prefix. 2 prefix you are having. 2 prefix. So this, if you are thinking it is tough, then you write in natural form again. After breaking, if you could not do, then you write like this only. C2H5. It was like this. Okay. If you can count directly 2, then also it's okay. Otherwise you can expand also. Not a problem. So CH3 and C2H5, you are having 2 prefix now. You are having 2 prefix now. Okay, now which should get the preference? Out of these 2 prefix, which should get the preference? Yes? What does rule number 6 says? Rule number 6. Alphabetic order, you have to go for that. So, not that one. You have to go alphabetical order, or which rule number says that. So if there are any two alkyl groups, then you need to go alphabetical order. So in this is methyl, and there are 2 carbon atoms, so ethane becomes ethyl. Carbon number 2, eth. And since alkyl group, so YL, alkyl, so ethyl, methyl. So ethyl and methyl, out of ethyl and methyl, which if you go alphabetical order, then E comes first or M comes first? E comes first. So you will give preference to ethyl. You will give preference to ethyl. Okay. So you will be writing ethyl first. But numbering now this, numbering you need to focus. So what I am saying, more preference over prefix. This group will get more preference over prefix. So can you number like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you number like this, then OH is having, OH will be linked to carbon number 5. That means we are not giving preference to OH group. So in order to give preference to OH group, we need to number in such a way that this OH group will get the lowest possible number. That means how can we do? If we count from right to left. If we count from right to left, that means if I do like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then carbon number in which OH group is there will be having number 1. Will be having number 1. So this is the correct way of numbering. So while numbering, number 1, first of all, while selecting carbon chain, if there is secondary suffix, then this secondary suffix and from primary suffix alkene and alkyne, if there is there, then they must lie in the parent chain. That is must. Number 1. Number 2. numbering should be done in such a way that this suffix should get the lowest possible number. They should get the more preference. So I'll be numbering like this, then so that OH will be lying in carbon number 1. OH will be lying in carbon number 1. Then what will be my prefix? What will be my prefix now? In carbon number 2 there is ethyl group. Carbon number 2 there is ethyl group, and carbon number 4 there is methyl group. So how will I write this? Ethyl and methyl. So E comes first, so I'll write first ethyl. Then ethyl is in carbon number 2. So 2 ethyl. And in which carbon number is methyl? 4. So 4 methyl. This is my prefix. This is my prefix. Then what is primary suffix? Primary suffix. Is there any double bond? Is there any double bond between the carbon atoms? No. Then I'll go for N. N. So N. Then what is secondary suffix? Secondary suffix. Secondary suffix, I have OH. So suffix will be OL. OL. And mind one thing, whenever there is primary suffix and secondary suffix, then E of the primary suffix is to be omitted. E of the primary suffix is to be removed. E of the primary suffix is to be removed. Then what will be the name of this compound? So name of this compound will be, first of all we will be writing prefix. So 2 ethyl, 4 methyl. Then what root is pent. Then N. AN only I will write AN. Then OL is in which carbon atom is OL? Carbon number 1. So 1 ol. So this is the way you number. Okay? 2 ethyl, 4 methyl, pentane, 1 ol. Okay. Then if there is acid, then how will you do? If there is acid, then how will you do? For example, CS3, CH2, CH2, COOH. If this is there, this is there. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways, if you can number, longest chain is having 4 carbon atoms. Longest chain is having 4 carbon atoms, and in the longest chain, carbon with this is there. This is present in the longest chain only, not a problem. Now, our word rule, that means our word rule is having how many carbon atoms? 4. So 4 means but. 4 means but. Okay? 4 means but. Then but. Now this should give the higher preference. That means counting must be done from whenever there is carboxylic acid, your counting starts from there only. So they should get the higher preference. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should get the higher preference. Then what will be here? What will the prefix is not there? So primary suffix in, there is no double bond, and secondary suffix is oic acid. Then what was the name? Butaoic acid. Mind you, for acid, you can write like this also, or you can number. Since carboxylic acid will have number 1 only, so if you write like this, then also it's okay. If you number this, then also it is okay. If you number, then it will be butane. Then in which carbon atom is carboxylic acid? 1. So butane 1 weak acid. Butanoic acid. And if there is compound like this, CH3, CH, CH3, and if there is Cl, if there is Br, then how do you name this? Now you can see there is no functional group like in, wine, and any of this. So you have to go for the longest possible chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in this case, if there is no secondary suffix, if there is no in and yn, then higher preference will be given to the prefix. Higher preference will be given to the prefix. And the prefix here are halides. Prefix here are halides. So, if you go like this, then also 2, 3. If you go like this, then also 3, 2. 3, 2. Okay, 2, 3. Anyways. Now you can number anyways. Then, but while writing, this is bromo and this is chloro. So one is starting from B, one is starting from C. So B comes first. So you will write, if you number like this, then 2 bromo, 3 chloro. Then what is your word root? 4. So but. And there is no double or triple bond, so N. So this is 2 bromo 3 chlorobutane. 2 bromo 3 chlorobutane. So this way you can name organic compounds. Now, if there is any problem, let me know. Now, writing structural formula from IUPAC name. Whenever IUPAC name is given, how will you write the structural formula? Now we are doing, till now what we were doing, the structural formula was given and we were writing the name. Now the name will be given and you have to write the structural formula. So following steps to be followed. What is there? Write the number of carbon atoms according to the word root. Number 2, number the carbon atoms from the end where the double triple bond of the functional group gets smallest number. Number 3, according to the suffix n, in or y in, the position of the bond is specified in the parent chain. Number 4, satisfy the 4 valencies of carbon atom by attaching hydrogen atoms. For example, 2 bromo 4 methyl. What is that? 2 bromo 4 methyl. 2 bromo 4 methyl pent 2-ene. This is the name given. You have to write the structural formula. So step number 1. You go for word root. First thing you will go for word root. So this bromo is prefix, methyl is prefix, then pent is your word root. So word root is pent. Pent means 5. So make 5 carbon atoms. 3, 4, 5. Done. Then go for this primary suffix. So primary suffix is in. And this in is in carbon number 2. And I said you it cannot be 1, 2. Because if it is 1, 2, you have to write 1 here, the lowest. So since there is 2, means it has to be 2, 3. Either you go from this 2, 3 or 2, 3. Any. So I am going like this. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but if you want to go like this, if you want to go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to put double bond here, then also it's okay. This is also right. This is also right. Both are right. Now I am following this. I am going like this. Okay, this is done. That means up to this is done. Done. Now I have to locate this. 2 bromo. That means in carbon number 2 there is bromo. In carbon number 2 there is bromo. So in carbon number 2 there is bromo. And in carbon number 4 there is methyl. In carbon number 4 there is methyl. Then each carbon atom should have 4 arms. So 1 arm is here, 2, and then 3, and then 4. This is carbon number 1. This 1, 2, 3, 4 full. For this 1, 2, 3, 1 is left. So 1 is left, filled with hydrogen. Then 1, 2, 3, 1 is left, filled with hydrogen. This 1, 2, 3, 4, filled with hydrogen. This is the thing. So this is the structural formula for 2-bromo-4-methyl pent-2-ene. Pent-2-ene. So in this way you can name organic compounds. In this way you can name organic compounds. Another also you can try. Yes. 2-methyl prop-1-ene. Okay. Prop-1-ene. 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 If you have to make a structural formula of this, how will you do? So there is no prefix. First is you go for word root. Word root is having 3. Prop means 3. 3. Okay, 3 carbon atoms. C3. C3. So drop 1, 2, 3. Then 1-ene. That means in carbon number 1 and 2. Between carbon number 1 and 2 there is triple bond. Between carbon number 1 and 2 there is triple bond. If you move like this 1, 2, 3, then triple bond is in between 1 and 2. But if you move like this side, then it will be like this 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Then count 4 arms for all carbon. This is 1, 2, 3, 1 is left, so 4. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill with hydrogen. Fill with hydrogen. This is number 1. Fill with hydrogen. So this becomes your prop-1-ene. Prop-1-ene. So in this way, you can name organic compounds, and whenever name is given, you can make the structural formula from it. You can make the structural formula from it. Let's do K. K from your exercise. K. CH3, 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 CH2, 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 CHO. If this is there. This is there, then what you will do? Go for counting, and while counting only you go for, first of all you check where is the functional group. So this is your functional group, CHO. So this should get the more preference, means start counting from here only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Otherwise you cannot try because this will get the higher preference. If you count from here, it will get the lowest number, and you cannot go like this also. So the longest chain is having 6. So what root is 6? What root is 6? And then in carbon number 5 there are 2 substituents. So what is the name of this? Prefix 2 methyl groups. 2 methyl groups. And if there are 2 methyl groups, then you write dimethyl. You write dimethyl. And if this dimethyl is in which group? In which carbon chain? Carbon number 5. Carbon number 5. Both is carbon number 5. So this 5 is for this, and this 5 is for this. So 5,5 dimethyl. 5,5 dimethyl. And then this is what root is 6. So hex. Hex. And single bond only. So N. And this is 1. So this is the name of this